Hey, what's up, guys? So today I'm gonna go ahead and do a bit of another deck profile on a deck that I'm gonna be trying to play in a different format. So I'm gonna be trying this deck out in Pioneer. So it's kind of exciting in the sense that I originally wanted to play Pioneer back when I went into more competitive 1v1 Magic rather than just online historic on Magic Arena or EDH. So I wanted to play Pioneer, but unfortunately it was kind of like the start of the pandemic, and Pioneer wasn't really, it was kind of new and wasn't really picking up too much steam, and it kind of just honestly there was nowhere to really play it. And even now, it's still kind of hard to find a place that plays Pioneer in my area without traveling, like 20, 30 miles out to find a store that supports Pioneer. Most of the stores around my area support Modern and maybe Standard sometimes, and um, EDH, and I think maybe Legacy. But obviously, I'm not too interested in Legacy as a format, and EDH as a competitive format seems kind of dumb. I'll be real with you. But anyways, so one of my local stores is gonna try to start supporting Pioneer, um, and they're gonna start doing that when the new set comes out. New Caprina, or was it? I think it's New Caprina, whatever that set is called. But yeah, so with that set, they're gonna introduce Pioneer, and yeah, I'm gonna give it a shot. So this deck, it's basically it's not a very competitive deck. Even it's got some cool cards in here and stuff like that, but it's not it's not a very a super competitive deck per se. So like I don't expect this deck is gonna be like you know um 5-0ing a league or anything like that. But it's just a fun deck I want to try out, and it's right now it's sort of incomplete. Like I'm still missing a lot of cards and or some cards that I want to try out and get for the deck. So it is missing a couple of cards. Originally, because I built this deck for Pioneer and Pioneer wasn't being played, I did convert this deck to Modern and play this deck a little bit in Modern before I eventually got my Esper deck. So ironically, in Modern it was doing pretty well. Like it wasn't super duper terrible, but it wasn't anything so spectacular either. I think it was a little less consistent than my Esper deck did as a control deck, but it was still pretty fun to play. So the theme of this deck is going to be Grixis. I guess you could say Grixis control, Grixis mid range. I want to lean towards more of the control side because it does play some Planeswalker and it doesn't play as much monsters or creatures to be a mid range deck. The one that I'm playing on Historic is more of a mid range deck because I am playing maybe Brazen Borrower, or I'm playing what's his name? Not Brazen Borrower, but Stomping Giant. So, well, like with those stuff, those that deck tends to be um, more of a mid-range deck, and this deck is more of a control deck. But you'll see when I get into it. So this deck, I built it with the idea of playing Nicobolus. Nicobolus being one of my favorite characters in Magic, and I really like dragons also. So I built this deck for fun, and I am gonna experiment with it a little bit more. And it's kind of tough because without a place to play at and without friends that play Modern, or sorry, Pioneer, it's hard for me to test the deck out because I don't play Magic online, so I don't really have a deck on there to test play the deck and to see how it would actually do. Closest thing I have to be able to test play this particular deck is Magic Arena. Magic Arena has a lot of these cards in here exist on Magic Arena. Granted, the format's a little different, definitely different. It's similar enough that I can just test play the consistency of the deck and just to see how it runs and functions, and it honestly works okay. Like it's nothing amazing. You would probably consider this more of a jank deck, anyways, but it can still hold its ground against a lot of things. It still can have some pretty powerful plays, some extended late game stuff like that. So that's what we're looking for, is just the play the game and kind of control it to get the late game, let our Planeswalker, Croxa, stuff like that do some work. Um, and yeah, so that's the general idea of the deck. And it's just a work in progress. I don't know what's in Pioneer's meta. I think I know Phoenix is pretty good. Is it Phoenix has been a popular deck for a long time, and with stuff from Midnight Hunt, you got Expressive Alliteration, Consider right here. The deck's been pretty popular and powerful, so that's what I'm expecting to play again. So probably gonna have a lot of graveyard hate and stuff like that against the Is It deck or Is It Phoenix deck sooner or later. But for now, this is what my deck looks like, and I'll kind of show it off. Hopefully, we can see here. So what we got is 4 Consider. Now Consider is just our card selection choices. I'm not, obviously we don't have Snapcasters or anything to profit off of the Consider even more, but it's still a good card. This card in Pioneer is going to be good for filling your graveyard, because there's 2 things we're going to try to do when filling our graveyard. We're trying to have food for Croxa, and we're also trying to have food for Dig Through Time. And I don't remember how many Dig Through Times I play. I think I play only 1 right now, but I may bump that up to 2, or maybe lower it down. It just depends. But I think Consider is a pretty good card selection choice here. So playing 4 Considers, playing Thought Seizes. Thought Seizes is probably not super duper great in the format because of Is It Phoenix and stuff like that, but I still really like the card. I think it's one of Black's strongest cards. It's kind of our way of playing a counterspell without playing a counterspell and giving us information. Yeah, sure, it does hurt, but YOLO, I really like the card, so I am going to play the 4 Thought Seizes regardless, if they're good or bad. That's the main reason I play Black, is for honestly Thought Seize. I really love the card, even though it hurts to play sometimes just because you're picking yourself for 2. But yeah, right now, I just have 4 Fatal Pushes. The numbers of this is probably gonna change. I'm probably gonna down it to 3. I'm waiting for more of the new set to see what else is in the set. I heard there's some pretty good red removal cards, and that I might try out instead of Fatal Push. Maybe 2 to 3 copies of Fatal Push is probably what we're gonna sit at. Right now, I just have 4 Fatal Pushes as kind of like a placeholder for now. And then once the new set drops, I'll see what else I can put in and play instead. Next, I have 2 Jace, the Vryn's Prodigy. Jace here is just another control aspect of the deck. He helps you to filter your hand, and he helps you to eventually get value out of your graveyard when he does flip. So yeah, he's just not a bad card, and Consider helps him flip a little bit earlier. So I still like him at 2. I think 3 might be a little difficult to play. You might end up clawing on him a little bit, but I think 2 is good for now. And since we're playing Modern, I think Jace is a little bit harder to remove. In Pioneer, I used to play him in Pioneer. I didn't like him in Pioneer, or sorry, in Modern, because in Modern there's just so many cheap removal. Like Jace was just hard to stick on the board, and to get any decent value out of him. I think in Pioneer he's gonna survive a bit better, has a little bit more staying power, just because the removal is just not as good. So that's why I'm playing the Jace there. Next is just 2 Croxas. Kind of like our late game win con here. So we're still a pretty expensive deck to play, so I don't think I want to play too many Croxa, but I like having him and Bolus attacking at the same time. That's how most of my game ends, is having him and the Flying Bolus just attack my opponent every turn to eventually just wither him down and kill him. So that's what Croxa has been doing for me here. Next off, now this I'm not too sure about either. I'm playing right now 3 Drown in Lock. You can potentially play 4. I don't think 4 is warranted, namely because we're not in a I want to say a Pioneer format, or sorry, in a Modern format where people aren't going to be filling their graveyards that quickly, and so Drown will sometimes miss that opportunity to get value. and so that's why I'm only playing three. We are playing a lot of hands disruption and hand discarding to force our opponent to fill up their graveyard to make drown live. But even then, it sometimes drown won't be live, and so I think uh, three copies is okay. If I was playing Grixis Death Shadow, like I was playing on historic, or if I was playing Grixis Death Shadow in modern, then I would definitely play four of this. Like this is great removal, great counter spell. Plus the card, the CMC value in modern is a lot lower. So being that the CMC value in modern is lower, Drown and Lock will almost always see it being active as a counter spell. Because I like this over counter spell because one black, one blue is a lot easier than double blue. And also you can also remove some creatures and stuff like that too. So it's pretty versatile. I like I definitely do like Drown and Lock at three here probably. I don't think I would want it at four, but right now three seems like a good number. Next off, I have two Dreadbore. Um, I think I may not take it out. I'm not too sure, but I like Dreadbore because it's just a 2 mana removal for anything that you need, creature wise or a Planeswalker. Its main weakness is that it's sorcery speed, which is kind of detrimental, but not too much. I think so. I think two Dreadbore is okay. You can even cut it down to one, but I've liked two so far. Like two has helped me deal with a lot of things when I was test playing against a couple of my friends that were playing Pioneer months ago. But now that we're actually gonna maybe pick it up again, I'll have to test this out and see how this does. Now this is a little weird, but basically I had Search for Escanta in my deck, but I think I'm gonna take it out. I think I used to play it just to fill up my graveyard. But with like Consider and stuff like that nowadays, I don't think I need the search for Scanta anymore. And so I probably bump this up to four Expressives. Expressive is just too good. It's a hard card to not play four of. Because every time you do see it and every time you play it against your opponent, it just forces them to like try to negate this or try to outvalue it in long games. It really does that job. It really just pushes you ahead, especially for just two CMC. It's just that good. So I'm definitely gonna take this out for a fourth copy of Expressive Iteration when I do pick it up. And so yeah, so that's what I'm gonna go for there. In terms of my Planeswalkers, I just have one Lily and one Narset. Like I said, this is probably gonna change. I might even want to try out the Kaito Suzuki or Sasachi or whatever his name is, Kaito. Might try him out just to see, but I think right now these are just kind of placeholders. Liliana has been good. Like I've liked her. Like nothing wrong with her per se. Like I've played her and I used her ability before, stuff like that. So I have like Lily, so nothing to really say there. Narset, I think she belongs in the side more than the main deck. Um, if you play against Phoenix and you can slap her down and retain her on the board, then I think your opponent will have a very difficult time getting rid of her. So I think she's definitely more of a side deck card, but I don't know yet. I'll have to test that out. So that's what I have for my 3-mana Planeswalker. Next off, I have three Kolaghan's Command. This card's another maybe. I definitely want to play two. I think I'll cut the third copy for something else. Right now I'm thinking of cutting like this and maybe a Narset or something like that for like a Brazen Borrower or maybe a Stomping Giant or a was it Skull Crusher Giant. So I'm not too sure about these numbers yet. So keep in mind this deck is gonna change over time for sure. This is just what I have put together right now. Just kind of show off what the concept of the deck and then go from there. But yeah, Kolaghan's Command is just a 2-for-1 usually, real good artifact removal. Like I mentioned, I'd probably do 2 in the main and 1 in the side. Right now I just have all 3 in the main right now. But yeah, I'm probably gonna go ahead and switch that around once I get to test play this deck. Next off, I have 4 Nicol Boluses. Now, I think the optimal number is honestly three, because you know you might clog up if you get too many of this. But I just like the card so much that I decided to put four of them in there. Um, because I noticed at three, there's times where I just won't draw him at all, and I'll lose. And at four, sometimes I draw too many of him and I lose. But you know, if I'm gonna play a deck that is gonna be focused on Grixis and is gonna be focused on Nicobolus, and this, like I said, this is more of a fun deck than a competitive deck. So I'm just gonna slap in four for now, and see what happens. There's plenty of times where you'll flip him over, which is great. So yeah, like I think yeah, four here is a bit overkill, but for my purposes of playing this deck, I definitely like the just to slap the four in there. So yeah, just four Ravagers for now. Um, Next off, the two Big Daddies. I was playing three, but I think I'm gonna keep it at two for now. I'm not too sure yet. I gotta mess around with that number, but yeah, I got two big boluses here. Um, and that's being the most expensive card in my deck is the 5 mana Nicobolus. I would probably play more, but his triple black sometimes is kind of hard to cast, honestly. But we'll have to mess around with that a little bit more and see how that works. But yeah, just the um, double bolus God Dragon there. And then finally, I have one. Looks like one dig through time right now. I was playing two. I'm not too sure if this is that great anymore, especially with expressive alliteration. Before expressive came out, I was playing two of these, but nowadays I think I'm just gonna do the one because I still want to leave my graveyard for the Croxus and Jace. Um, so I'm not too sure honestly, and maybe the Kolaghan's command because it is taxing on your graveyard, especially if you have to pitch six of it. And you know you don't have that. You're not really playing that many lands, like fetching lands and stuff. So it's definitely harder to get dig through time off. And that I don't want to draw multiple of this in my early hand. So I think one dig through time is okay. That number may change, but for now, I'm gonna keep it through one dig through time. Land base is pretty simple. It's probably gonna change again. Like right now, I'm still missing some cards, so um, I'll just show you off my land base right now. But so I'm playing 11 shocks. This right here, I think it's. I don't have another watery graves. I looked around. I couldn't find my sixth copy of my watery grave somewhere. So right now, I think this is what it's gonna look like. It's gonna be four watery graves, four blood crypt, and three steam vents. Um, Namely because we're playing a lot of check lands too. So these serve two purposes. Obviously, to get you the colors you need, and also to have the type so that your check lands when they come in, they don't come in tap. So that's just something you want to pay attention to. So I think that's what I'm going to be doing. I mean, if worst comes to worst, you could probably do two steam vents and then four watery and four blood. But I think three steam vents is okay, and then four watery is going to be fine. Um, in theory, at least, I haven't really tested the mana base yet too much, but the mana base on at least arena seems okay. So um, I'm not too sure yet. Next off for check lands, I'm just doing 2 2 2 2. So two drown, two summit, and two sulfurs. I think I might do this. I might do three catacombs, two skulls, and one falls. I'm not too sure. Let me know what you guys think of the ratios. The ratio right now, that's what I'm trying to figure out, is ratio for this deck, and what I like to see and what I don't like to see. And so I'm not too sure yet, but I think, I mean, it's a very insignificant difference between having three drown versus two Sulphur's Falls. Because my deck is primarily, is it? I think, or not, is it? Primarily Demir colors. I think. I have quite a lot of Demir, a lot of black for sure. So I think I want the black source over the additional red. Because I don't think I need that much red in the deck, so I think additional black is good. But for sure, I want blue though. Like for sure, blue is like a mainstay of the deck, so you need blue always. So I think four or three drown and one falls is going to be the number. I don't have another drown with me, so I might need to pick up another drown. I only have three copies of it, and I think one of it's in my Esper deck somewhere. So that's for the checks. And then for basics, we just have just this. One Fable to search one of each. Our deck is very expensive in terms of mana, or very extensive in terms of mana, so I always need that mana. Like, I was playing 4 Fables and 5 basics. That was working okay. The Fables were nice in filling up the graveyard. Problem with Fable is that if you draw multiple Fable, it sucks. Like you don't want to draw opening 2 Fables and like a skull. Like if you have like this as your opening hand and 4 other cards, it's really a really slow hand. So that's why I didn't like Fable. Like if Fable came in untapped, then I would definitely just max this thing out. But the fact that the land comes in tapped, it just hurts. Like I tried a lot of times. I done 3 Fables and 4 lands. Problem with that is then you don't have the other colors that you need. If you draw too many basics, um, you won't have like double blue or double black, double red. There's a lot of doubling. There's like a lot of 2 to 3 pipes of colors in the deck, and so like it's just the basics. Playing anymore in this just kind of sucks. So I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't play any more than just the 3 basics plus the Fable. And the reason why you do play basic, you're not really afraid of Blood Moon, because Blood Moon doesn't exist in Pioneer. At least I don't think so. I'll have to take a look at the ban list again, because I forgot what's even banned in Pioneer. Um, but at least from my knowledge, Blood Moon and like Back to Basics doesn't exist, so you don't really need this. You do want to play basics in the event that your opponent like Fill the Runes you, or they I don't know, assassin trophies you or something like that. You have some way of getting some sort of value off of it, so the basics are there for that. And in the passages, or just to fill up your graveyard, to thin out your deck a little bit, and to maybe proc like a Fatal Push or something like that. So that's what the passages are for. And I'm running 23 lands, and the final land I have here is, it's not going to be Castle Vantress. So Castle Vantress is just a placeholder right now. This is going to be Otawara, the Soaring City from Kamigawa. And I like that. I actually liked it in the deck. I've actually used it a few times where I had like a Nicobolus and a Croxa on the board, or a Jace or something like that, and you can just pitch it for 1 or pitch it for 2. It's not that bad. So you do have a couple of legendary creatures to get value off of the Otawara land. I don't think the red one's any good. The red one makes you 2 Goblin tokens. It's kind of useless. And the black one is good, but it's kind of expensive, because it's like 4 mana to, like, you know, get something back from your graveyard to your hand, which is not that good, considering you have you already have Kolaghan's Command that does the same thing. Cool. It's cool that it picks up Planeswalkers. Like, Kolaghan Command can't pick up Planeswalker, but the black land is not that great, I think. So I think you can play 1 or 2 Otawaras, and that would be the good like flex land. Or you can play a man land if you like. You can play Hall of the Storm Giant maybe, if you wanted to try it. If you need a man land, or you can play. I think that's it. I think Hall of the Storm Giant would probably be the only main land I'd play. Or maybe if you want to play, you could also just play Castle Vantress itself. It's not a bad card, but I think Castle Vantress does better in like a blue-white control deck. So you can, you have Teferi on the board. You can untap and tap it, and scry yourself. But in this deck, you don't really have the time or the luxury to tap for 4 mana to scry 2. It's never gonna come up. If you are doing that, you're probably already losing. So that's it for the main deck. Side deck, I'm still, like I said, work in progress. I have absolutely no idea what the meta is for Pioneer. So right now, just cards that I have that I may play. I'm not too sure yet. So I have Wonder Rest for against control decks. Maybe bump it up to 2. Maybe against combo decks. I'm not too sure yet. So Wonder Rest for now. Same idea with 1 Negate against against control or against other combo decks. One negate to for as a hard counter. It's our best one that we have in this particular deck. So um, yeah, so one negates, two Aether Gus, because Blood Moon and stuff like that is not prevalent. I don't think you need more than two. Maybe it's still good against Phoenix and a couple other green type decks. So yeah, just two Aether Gus for now. I do have triple disputes, because this deck likes to tap out a lot or leave very small amounts of mana up. Because black definitely likes to tap out a lot, so you oftentimes won't have a lot of mana left over in order to like do counter spells and stuff like that. So right now I'm just doing the two or the three disputes in case I do play against a control or another Phoenix deck or something like that. I think triple dispute would be good there. And then I have one Ashiot. Not too sure what I'm doing with him, other than just a generic side card, and it also helps mill yourself, so that you can get stuff in the graveyard for dig through time or something like that. So that's just another maybe right here. Then I have a second Narset in my sideboard. Yeah, like I mentioned, I'm not quite too sure if this is correct, but that's what I'm playing right now. But I'll let you know. It's gotta test out the deck a little bit more. And then two Angers, Anger of the Gods. This is just to combat low to the ground. Rush a creature base decks. It's probably one of the better 3-mana board wipes that deal 3 damage, and also exiles. So overall, fairly decent. And then I have two gold blanks. This might change. This maybe change to like a Soul Lantern or something like that. I think, but I think gold blanks aren't a bad card. Like I like using it in historic. Like you hit someone for 2 and then you exile their graveyard. Yeah, that's been pretty hilariously good. So for now, two gold blanks. I have one Extinction Event. This is just to exile stuff that you probably can't target or has indestructible or something like that. You want to obviously avoid hitting yourself. All your creatures in the deck so far are even types, so if opponents are playing a lot of odds, you can just call odds and ruin their day. But yeah, that's it. I'm not really playing any main deck board wipes. I don't think I need to yet. So yeah, and finally just a Kalidas here. I have another one, but I think just one in the side is okay. I'm not too sure about it yet. He used to be main deck worthy. Like he used to main deck the Cletus against other aggro decks and stuff like that. Right now, I'm not too sure about that. So I'm just having him in the sideboard, and maybe in the future, if there's a lot of aggro or a lot of like Phoenix or something like that, then I think he'll see more play. A lot of people are picking him up, but I don't think they're picking him up for like a sideboard card. They're picking him up for a main deck deck type thing. I think they're picking him up for like Orzhov vampires maybe. Either Orzhov vampire or maybe Rakdos vampires, but I am seeing him being bought off the market right now, and yeah, we'll see. Yeah, and that's really it. I don't really have much else to say about the deck right now since I haven't really got to actually play the deck. I don't really know how the ratios are going to work out, what cards to take in and out at the moment. I'll give a better profile update and build once I get some new cards in, and once I'm able to actually go out and play the deck. It probably won't be for at least another 2 to 3 weeks before I give an update on this deck. Not until at least the new set comes out and I get the chance to play at my locals with the new set, and I'll go from there. But for now, that's just the first look at the deck, and then from there, hopefully, I'll be able to make some improvements, and then yeah, maybe talk about some tournament reports with the deck. But that's it. That's all I got for you guys for today. Hopefully you enjoy. If you have any suggestions in the comments or whatever, just let me know so I can take a look at it and maybe pick up some of those cards you guys suggest and try them out in the deck. Hope you guys enjoy. See you guys next time.